Hi, my name is Lena. Welcome to my channel, and this is my weekend reads because I didn't do Friday reads because I was reading on Friday quite greedily. Unfortunately, I mostly read ebooks because it's easier for me to get ebooks. For example, I ordered from Better World Books, I think, all Marie Renault books about Alexander the Great, Fire from Heaven, and A Persian Boy, and Funeral Games. I also ordered The Last of the Vine. I believe it's her the most favorite of her books. And I only got this one, the first one, Fire from Heaven. I have to assume that three more books, the other three books, got lost in the mail, unfortunately. Well, I am still kind of sort of waiting for them, but I think it has been 2 months, maybe more, maybe 3 months. So I'm not overly hopeful. I got ebooks, so I will read them anyway, but so far I do not have any hard copies. So I mostly read ebooks, and I want to talk to you about ebooks I have read this week. The first one I finished, The Assassination of Julius Caesar, A People's History by Michael Parenti. I'm sorry, guys. No, I'm sorry about that. I will leave a link to the Goodreads page of the book. So I really liked it. It was interesting. The whole approach, the attitude, the angle was very interesting. Well, shortly, Michael Parenti thinks that Julius Caesar wasn't killed because he was going to end the Republic, that he was going to become the first emperor or the king or what do they call it? Dictator, whatever, usurper. So not because of that, because he was threatening the constitution of republic, the freedom of common people, of Roman Republic. No, nothing like that. He was killed because he was threatening profits of the most influential, of the most rich families of Roman Empire. Whatever his motives were, he was trying to deal with unemployment, with extreme poverty of common Roman people, and his politics threatened to lower those profits, and that's why he was killed. It was interesting. I still believe that Caesar would have seized power in Rome, but it's a very interesting idea, and it got me interested in the Gracchi brothers and in basically everybody else, in Cato, in Marcus Brutus, in Cicero, because Michael Parenti tells us that they are not spotless themselves. He paints Cicero as a person who wasn't above hypocrisy and above taking bribes, and Cato is very biased person. He paints him as a very biased person. So when common people are concerned, he would stick to this old regime no matter what. So he would be for his old principles. But when his family were concerned, or some of this elite were concerned, he could bend rules and laws quite a bit, and he was all right with it. So Michael Parenti paints him like that, and Marcus Brutus, he paints him as a very, very unpleasant character. You wouldn't say that Brutus is an honorable man. So it was a very interesting book, and it got me interested in other things. For example, in the Life of 12 Caesars by Suetonius. I'm sorry, guys, it's a Russian version, a Russian translation, so it's Suetonius. I'm sorry about that. And of course, this one of the books that I am reading on my Goodreads page, The Lives by Plutarch. They are quite short. Those the lives I found and marked the lives of Gracchi brothers and the lives of Cicero and Demosthenes. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry for butchering the names, the English variants of the names. Also, he interested me in the works by Julius Caesar himself, and I know that Steve Donoghue, that those are not the works by Julius Caesar himself. Those are works by ghost writers that Julius Caesar put his name to. So still, it's very interesting. And so now I'm interested in reading those books. And I already have about 17 books I'm reading on Goodreads right now. And then I have started and I have finished Old Man's War by John Scalzi. It's a sci-fi. And unfortunately, all I can show you is that. That's the cover of any book I have. And it's a sci-fi, it's a military sci-fi, and it's a very interesting story. I'm not sure how much I can tell you, because everything actually spoilers, and everything I can tell spoilers. It starts with, well, the idea is that when you are on Earth in this variant of future, when you're 65, you can enlist to serve in a colonial defense force in about 10 years' time. So when you're 75, you go off the planet Earth, and your body gets modified or enhanced or whatever, and you're young again, and you are fighting in this colonial defense force. So you are defending colonies on different planets. And that's the only way you can actually travel in space, because monopoly on the space travel belongs to this colonial union. So it's the only way you can ever travel in space and see other worlds. Then, of course, you want to be young again. You don't want to be ill. So you want to be healthy and young and so on. And nobody knows much about it, because after you served 2 or in fine print 10 years as a soldier on this colonial defense force, you cannot go back to Earth. So you will be living somewhere on colonies. You will be a colonist. So nobody knows much, and that's suspicious, of course. And then and we are following John Perry, and he has, I'd like to say, the greatest sense of humor. You know, the kind of humor that when nothing is left, this humor is the only thing that's left. So he has great sense of humor, and it's a very interesting story. And we follow this character, John Perry, from Earth, We start when he's 75 and he goes off planet, and he experienced pretty much this modification thing and so on, and we are following him and we are learning things through him. And so at some point, and nobody of course expected that, we realized that nobody knows anything, because about 75% of these people will be dead in 10 years. So that's kind of suspicious. And it's a very interesting story. So I liked it a lot. And I started reading the second book in the series, The Ghost Brigades, right away. And I'm on the chapter 3. Unfortunately, I have a suspicion that this story won't be featuring John Perry, and for me it's greatest letdown. But it's very interesting. In this second book, there is a conspiracy going on. It's not exactly a conspiracy. Three different races, they formed an alliance against human race. So they want to wipe out human colonists and human race, I think. It's very interesting. It starts as an investigation. It's a kind of sort of maybe a spy thriller kind of thing. Very interesting. And I'm enjoying it, even though it doesn't have John Perry in it. I think I will continue with the series, and it's very well written for sci-fi. Of course, everything should be very well written. In the first book, there were places when I would like to talk with the editor about a couple of things, but it's a well-written book, interesting, very good escapist fiction. So that's about all, I think. And I will be reading this book, Endymion by Simmons, and that's a buddy read with Todd the Librarian. And I have listened to it as an audiobook, and I liked it a lot. And now I'm looking forward to reading it in hard copy. And there is another book that is calling to me. It has been calling to me for weeks. It's Istanbul, A Tale of Three Cities by Bettany Hughes. I tried to read it a year or a couple of years back. I failed, so I want to start it again. But I'm afraid that it's going to be just another brick on my Goodreads currently reading list. Well, I think that's about all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and happy reading.